What's up, folks? We back. I wanted to do a video talking about one of the biggest, what I think, position battles in training camp, which is to me at the safety position. You have a young guy by the name of Juanyeh Thomas, and we have other safeties that I think deserve playing time, like Izzy Mukwamo, who they're listing as a nickelback, obviously, and then there's Hooker, and we have others, but it's really a battle to me with Juanyeh Thomas and Donovan Wilson, due to the fact that a lot of the playing time got cut into from Donovan Wilson because he was giving up plays last year. And when he gave up that playing time, you saw some of the things that I saw in Wanye early. We saw a lot more of it, and this is from 2023 here. This footage, but you'll see in all of the clips. I have 2023 and 2024. You'll see in all of these clips that Wanye is just never uncomfortable. I mean, a lot of people think that I say this just to say it when I make these comparisons. I don't. I remember a safety that we had by the name of Darren Woodson, who had the same measurables 6'3, 212, 220, somewhere in there. Juanyeh Thomas is 6'3, 220, runs like a deer. You see, he played. Darren Woodson played a little bit of corner for us early to help us out with Zim, and so did Juanyeh. Juanyeh here, you see him running through this double rub. So this rub here, was supposed Ayuk was supposed to rub both, and they ended up missing the timing on it. But you can see dealing with misdirections. Like look at the bottom of the screen, you see Donald Wilson gets on skates. You know what I mean? When it comes to misdirections, losing your man at the top of routes, things like that. Donovan Wilson struggles with these things. Wanye does not. I like Donovan Wilson, but and he's one of our longest tenured Cowboys. So I say what I say about him with respect because he's done a lot and he's made a lot of plays in recent years that I remember and enjoy, like the hit on Cook, the hit on Goodwin in the playoffs, things like that. He's done a lot of things that I respect. But when you're watching this film, it stands out to you that the better safety, forget safety, the best defensive back that we have overall is Juanyeh Thomas because he can play any safety position you want. He can play nickel. You could play outside. He's played everywhere. You're going to see it on the screen. He does everything. He guards receivers, running backs, tight ends, receiving tight ends, large, small, long, short, pause, doesn't matter. You can see here he's playing match man. This was match man. He played that perfectly. There's a lot of plays that he does this on this film, and I know I kind of gave a little rant early on, but just check it out. He's taken away the quarterback's first read because they want to attack him because he's a safety, which is a natural mismatch. So he shows you a mismatch and then covers the hell out of you, and you can't do anything about it. When you see the mismatch against Dono, it almost works every time. You see here, I think Zay Jones does this one to him. Boom, spins him in a circle. It's over. Like we can't give up that much cushion on any given play. But if it happens once or twice, okay, you got fooled. When it happens throughout an entire season and you're our starting strong safety, it becomes an issue, especially when you got a guy on the bench that's coming in playing like this. This is a rub route. This is hard for most corners to deal with. A lot of corners struggle with this, right? And we don't blame them because it's a concept that's designed to beat press coverage. Well, Juanyeh Thomas, someone needs to tell him that he's not supposed to be covering this well despite these rubs because he does it pretty damn well. Whereas you see when Dono gets hit with those same rubs, it's a touchdown almost every time. So it's not these are not plays that are as easy as Juanyeh is making them look when it comes to those rub routes on those press coverages that you're seeing and carrying your man up and down the field. We saw in the last video Carson struggled with a lot of those out routes. There's not, or the out and ups, things like that. There's not one route that I saw Juanyeh in press coverage on or off coverage even that he struggled with. He's very good in man coverage. I really am saying he's our best defensive back because he can do everybody's job on the field. And he runs a 4.4 and he's 6'3", 220. There's nobody else on this team. Maybe you could say Marquise Bell, but I think Marquise Bell will be found wanting in coverage, right? Juanyeh can play and do the things in the box that you want him doing, that you would like a Marquise Bell doing, but he also has the pursuit ability, as you can see here, where you can say, okay, well, he's a coverage guy, but when he comes down in the box, his pursuit is there, his block shedding is there, his size is there, and he can tackle his ass off. You can see Wilson there. Like Wilson is, like I say, he's a good safety, but you can't ignore The fact that you have an undrafted guy, even from a business standpoint, you have an undrafted guy that's covering like this on the field. Like, you can't ignore that. Wilson, on the same play you just watched, Wilson is cooked from the release. He's already cooked. It's just that Jones doesn't throw this ball. But I watched all of the film for most of the pass plays for the last 2 seasons, and Wilson gets cooked a lot, even more than the plays he actually gives up. He's cooked quite a bit, and that's something that you can't ignore. Here's a release, right? You see that I just showed you one release. This is Wright. That was Nashawn Wright. Got cooked off the release as well. So some corners get cooked off the release. This is a rub route on 4th and 3 against Adam Thielen. I know you guys remember this. He presses through the rub and still gets to the ball, even though they converted on this, I think, just barely. But you can see the intensity in the way he plays these routes. He gets scored on here, Juanyeh does. But look at how hard it is, even running through a rub, tracking his man, still gets there. It's just this is a very difficult play to stop for anybody. But that's what you have to do to beat him. You're not just going to line up and beat Juanyeh Thomas with normal routes. You have to use aggressive concepts in order to confuse him. We see the efforts there. His ability to shed blocks is there. So I think this is one of the more pressing battles in camp, because I think this battle is going to determine whether or not Wilson keeps his job. If Juanyeh comes in and does what we think he can do, or he comes in, he doesn't get injured early, God forbid, knock on wood, then I think it's Juanyeh's job to lose, and Wilson will be a healthy scratch after that. I think he'll be cut most likely, and I'm not saying that because I want him cut. I'm just looking at the business of it. When you're trying to win in this league, you can't just go with your favorites just because you like a guy. You have to go with who's putting up the stats and who has the ability to take this team to a next level. And I think that it's clear when you look at it that Juanyeh Thomas is that guy. When you look at these rub routes, these concepts that they're running against them and not scoring, a lot of these are touchdowns if it was Wilson in this same coverage, and we know that. So I think he'll be cut, as I said, or he will ride the bench if he stays on this team. But I don't think you take a guy that you're paying that much and you put him on the bench. They can save $7 million if they cut him. So I think from a business standpoint, they're going to cut him. You know what I mean? Wilson is very easy to score on. And I saved this part of the footage for last because I didn't want it to look like a hit piece initially. So if you made it this far, you get to see where the bodies are buried. But you can see how much Wilson is struggling to get to the point of attack, struggling in coverage. If he doesn't guess correctly and beeline straight to the ball in the backfield, if you get him in space, he's a liability. If you change direction, you hit him with any type of move, he's a liability. In press coverage, he's a liability. Against tight ends, it's just food. He's food, and that's what it is. There's no way around that, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. Even when you play him off, he's off deep coverage. This is cover 2. You can see, I think that's Shashid, whatever his name is a burner, but still. You can see he gets cooked quite a bit. He doesn't have even enough speed or acceleration to deal with pursuit angles correctly. He takes bad angles and he's hesitant too. So when he does that, like those little stutter steps, you don't have the recovery speed to not know where you want to be if you're Wilson. And we see that quite a bit. So, as I said, it's not a snuff piece. Not trying to hate on Wilson. He's done a lot. And, this is a what have you done for me lately league. But you can see that if the Cowboys want to be better than they were last year defensively, you can't give up these types of plays. And it's the biggest – it's just not a coincidence that the biggest plays against us last year were all thrown at number 6. You know what I mean? And you can see the difference clearly when you saw Juanyeh on the field last year. It was night and day. He was erasing tight ends. He erased Ertz. He just does well when it comes to coverage. He's a great coverage safety, and I think that he's good enough in the box and large enough, pause, where he can still make these plays that you see Wilson make, and he can do it a little bit better. But when he gets confused here in coverage, you can see he's confused here, right? And they knew it. He still manages to make the play stop the ball. If he gets beat on that play, it's a touchdown or it's at least a big play. So Juanyeh has been pretty clutch for a young player. He's been very clutch. Every time they attack him, he answers the bell. If you attack him directly, you're gonna lose like you saw right there. If you're attacking with rub routes, he's 80% on those. You're not really getting much off of that. But if he's in press man and you play him just head up, you're not really getting much against Juanyeh. So that's why I think he's one of the guys to watch in camp. And I honestly think, like, you see how he makes the guy hold the ball here. He makes the quarterback hold the ball and pull this ball down. Daniels can't do anything with this ball. So if he does what I think he's going to do, I think Wilson is going to be gone, man. But this is Akoye again, man. I'm glad you guys stayed with me to watch this one. If you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. But I'll be right back at y'all, and enjoy training camp, man. Shout out to those who shout me out. You know what I mean? Peace.